and welcome to Movers in Our Orbit, a podcast series from Space and Satellite Professionals International. I'm Tamara Bond Williams, Executive Director of SSPI. The Space and Satellite Futures podcast, of which Movers in Our Orbit is a part, is made possible by the support of SSPI's corporate partners, including Access Intelligence, producers of the Satellite Conference and Via Satellite Magazine, the law firm Clyde and Company, Hughes, an EchoStar company, and the American Space Exploration Fund. Today, we continue our series, Movers in Our Orbit. In this episode, we are going to meet someone navigating the very personal side of one of the biggest transformations in our industry. Sylvie Macraigne is a product and strategy leader with more than 20 years of international experience from France to London, the United States, and Luxembourg. Her resume includes Orange, Globecast, Arqiva, and Intelsat. Now she serves as Senior Principal Product Manager at SES, where she's helping lead the company's multi-orbit future, including integrating low Earth orbit capabilities into SES's service portfolio. But that's just the surface. Sylvia joins us just days after SES acquired Intelsat, a historic merger that will shape this industry for decades to come. What does that kind of change feel like on the inside? How do you hold steady in the midst of it? And where does the future lead from here? We'll explore all of that with Sylvie. Sylvie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you for the intro, and thank you for having me in the podcast.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have this conversation. If I'm very fortunate, I hope to have a couple of conversations with folks with the new merged company, because this really is a big story. Let's jump into this podcast, starting with your own journey, right? So you worked in many places across continents and sectors. Product and strategy seems to be kind of your bread and butter. What keeps you anchored in that kind of work? Why is that the work that you've done all your career?
That's really, a complicated question. But what keeps me anchoring that product management is really the passion about, satellite and the space industry. I've been working in different industry, and when I say industry, it's more like satellite service provider, telcos, and now satellite provider themselves. And I'm really excited about the transformation. It has been an intense transformation from the beginning, like, when I started 20 years ago, when we were talking about, moving from SD to HD for media. And then now we are moving from GEO to MEO, LEO orbit. And we will, we will be talking about direct to device. So it's really continuous involvement and evolution of what I'm doing that, inspire me and motivated daily. And, it's really, what I'm doing today as integrating a LEO as part of our previously Intelsat and now SES portfolio is really driving the future. Multi-orbit is the future. And, we need to offer to our customer a wide range of, orbits, a different product, and offer the best of the three worlds, I would say, to our customer, and really answer their demand for better, higher throughput, lower latency, and really build an offer that will differentiate ourselves in the market.
Yeah, I'm smiling because if you had told me, I don't know, even like just 10 years ago, if you had told me that I would have understood any of what you just said, I wouldn't have believed you. But I've been here watching the industry go through all these dramatic changes, and it's been really fascinating. So I do definitely I get what you're saying about how the constant change of the industry keeps you engaged and excited and inspired.
Yeah.
You've also been very visibly a leader on inclusion within our industry. Obviously, when we first started this satellite industry, women were very, very, very poorly represented in terms of numbers. I think it's improved now, but we're still a noticeable minority. What's it been like being a woman in the industry, and how has being a woman in the industry shaped your leadership style? What's it been like to be a part of the women's? Is it women's industry? I don't know what WIN stands for. Tell me what WIN stood for at Intelsat.
Okay. WIN stands for Women Initiative Network.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's, when I started 20 years ago, I remember going to a famous show called IBC in Amsterdam. And I
Uh-huh.
was really like one of the few women who were there. And I remember that, it felt a bit awkward because it was like, mainly men. But what was good at that time, and I met a lot of friends from that time, is that we were few women and we really tried to get together and support ourselves. And I met with a really good friends, long-standing friends that we were facing the same issue, being one or two women on the stand, and it just like it was really weird feeling. But my my goal was to really try to thrive professionally as a woman in the industry, in the space industry. It has not been easy all every day. You have sometimes to be kind of not really putting yourself in the man's shoes, because I don't want to, but having a voice, making sure that you have a voice. And when you're young, I can understand that sometimes it's not easy. So what I wanted to do with the program that I built at Intelsat, the Women Initiative Networks, is to give these young colleagues, female colleagues, the tools to have a voice in meetings, to be more visible, to have the confidence in themselves, and making sure that they have the same opportunity in terms of growth and success compared to our colleagues. But when we build these women initiative networks, we didn't really want to get that as a female group. We know that we need the support of men to thrive as well. We need sponsors, we need allies. And this is really important for me to include men as part of these women initiative networks.
Mm-hmm. I I remember that experience, and I'm really always excited to learn from women who've been walking this journey for a really long time. Um, so first of all, thank you. Thank you for doing it. And thank you for taking the initiative to think about how to make space for women to succeed in this industry that we all love. And also, how does your work with WIN correlate with your experience with WISE? And what would you recommend that WISE do better, or learn from WIN, or vice versa? And also, will WIN carry over into SCS? Do we know?
I don't know yet, but I did mention that I would like to, continue the adventure of Win, because, it's not only Intelsat, it's SES and other companies in our industry. So I hope you will not, keep quiet. And me, I don't keep quiet, so I will try to have a voice and making sure that we continue the Win, adventure with SES.
Yeah. SES has been a really wonderful partner with SSPI, and has always been a real champion of inclusion and corporate responsibility. So I imagine that there's going to be an available network for you to tap into as you navigate this merger. So good luck with that. I'm really excited to hear and see how this takes shape. But taking that on, this is a big headline. I mean, this is really one of the biggest things that's happened in the industry, like ever.
Yeah.
It's even a little breathtaking for me because just understanding the history of Intelsat and the history of SES, their early days as governmental entities, and Intelsat, I think it was a treaty organization originally. Um, just understanding that trajectory, and now these two major pillars of the industry come together as one. This is huge. And I'd love to just get your sense of, first of all, how did you feel about it when you started hearing about it? And what has it felt like making this transition?
Okay, so Intelsat is bringing 60 years of history. SES bringing 40 years of history. So combining those two big company, legacy company in the geo world, is tremendous. I mean, honestly. When we learned that more than a year ago, when SES says that they will acquire Intelsat, at the beginning it was like, oh, really? What's going on? And then we saw the logic. I mean, it's two big companies, and our industry is really facing a lot of challenges today with new entrants being disruptive, in the market, creating new opportunities as well. But for the two company, combining forces and combining what we are doing, the best. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's really a no-brainer. But for everyone, change is a bit, it's a mix of emotion, and it has been a transition time for the last year. I mean, we knew that it was going to happen, but actually with all these, authorization that we had to receive from different entities, then it did happen a few days ago, and we're still adjusting. And some people are just like excited. Some people might be, see that as a real challenge, but I see that as a real opportunity, and it's really something to create. It's a chance to create something new together. And sometimes you have to step outside your comfort zone to grow. And this merger, I mean, I call that as a merger because, it's really combining two companies. Even if SES acquired Intelsat, that merger gives us that push. And there's a lot of potential ahead. And I'm really, really excited about these. But I understand some people, can be, facing challenges and, being sad about what they left. I've been at Intelsat for 4 years, and what I really like about Intelsat is, is the culture. It's a culture of positive mindset, collaboration, really pushing hard to and encouraging to go beyond what you're doing on the daily job, and it's a culture of reward as well. We had a lot of program about reward, making the spotlight of employees that went beyond what they did on a daily basis. And this is something that I would like to carry on in the new culture, in the new SES culture. But it's just the beginning. I don't know yet all the culture, but I'm really, excited about, about the SES culture. And I believe that combining SES and Intelsat culture will make us stronger.
You are listening to The Better Satellite World, the longest running continuous podcast in the commercial space and satellite industry. The Better Satellite World podcast is funded by the corporate partners of SSPI, Hughes, Access Intelligence, and the American Space Exploration Fund. This podcast is also supported by live event partner Hogan Lovells. Have you heard about SBQ? Space Business Qualified is a popular online learning program for industry professionals designed by JSOA, SSPI, and SatProf. To learn more, visit spacebq.org. And in August and November, join Tamara, Space News Magazine, and the New York Space Alliance for the next New York Space Business Roundtable. If you want to get inside the industry's biggest issues and investments, meet startups and high-profile industry leaders from around the world, the Roundtable is the real New York event you cannot miss. If you like this podcast and are hearing it for the first time, a new podcast drops every Monday. To listen to previously released episodes, visit sspi.org/podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. And now back to the better satellite world.
You know, as you were talking, what was just coming to mind, this is going to sound a little strange, but let me just try to frame this correctly. Like you said, Intelsat is a 60-year-old company, and it has so much legacy, right? I mean, I I remember without quite knowing what it stood for, but I remember that Intelsat was actually an acronym of, of something. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't necessarily. And similarly, SES, these are both acronyms. They stood for longer names. And in the case of Intelsat, like I said, this was a treaty organization, and I came on board with SSPI right as they were making this transition and doing all the paperwork to make sure that Intelsat was actually a commercial entity, and kind of shedding some of that legacy treaty structure that it had. But what strikes me about that history is the coming together of these two major companies with this long history of what the industry is and how it came into being. It seems to me that it gives you, as now the new merged SES, an opportunity to have a voice in the industry that is really big and important in terms of just expressing who we are as an industry and where we're going as an industry. And so it seems like you're kind of creating an anchor that some of the new entrants can kind of hold on to and say, okay, this is who we are, and this is where we can fit in. Does that make sense, or is that crazy?
No. It totally makes sense. And, we have two leading companies like SES and Intelsat were the geo leaders, worldwide leaders, and combining forces, as I say, the number of customer, the number of, our customer in total is really impressive. And what we are building on top of our customer is really like a new culture, a new force. And we are really building the future with multi-orbit as well. As of today, we will have the GEO. SES bring the LEO, the MEO, sorry, and Intelsat with the partnership with a LEO provider brings the LEO part. So as of today, we are the only one in the industry being able to combine the three orbit, like GEO, MEO, and LEO. And this is really a big strength. And with our customer, anchor customer, new customer, we are going to build something huge.
Yeah.
And it's really the beginning of a great and a strong momentum, with SES.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right in it, right? You're right in this whole transition to this. Well, not transition, because SES has always had a multi-orbit strategy, and so has Intelsat, just from different points of view. But you'll be involved with the integration of these two versions of multi-orbit so that it becomes one thing. What's the most exciting thing to you about that?
Actually, I'm really at the heart of the transformation, because it's a big transformation as of today, and really being at the heart of that is really exciting, because you can see where we're going, what are the benefits, what are the challenges as well, because it's really reshaping the industry as well. But being a key component of that, multi-orbit strategy is really rewarding as well, because we're helping the teams to sell to our customer a different solution, something that is new. So you have to make sure that everyone is well equipped to be successful, and you have to grow that partnership as well, just to make sure that we are successful with our partner who deliver LEO, but also with our customer, deploying a lot of LEO solution as well. And we have to keep in mind that we still have some GEO. So it's kind of a mix of everything at the moment, but definitely, combining a GEO, LEO, and MEO is really a key differentiator in the industry. And as I say, we are the only one to deliver that today.
Yeah, that's just, I'm really looking forward to see how this shapes up. Okay, I have two questions. One is totally off the wall, but selfish, but I'm going to ask it anyway. But so you now have this gigantic, huge company that is both legacy rich and forward thinking because of this new ability to offer this multi-orbit strategy that crosses not one, but two, but three orbits. Of course, SSPI is right now in the middle of award season. We are requesting nominations both for our 20 under 35 and the Better Satellite World Awards. And I'm just hoping that this gigantic entity, SES, I'm hoping that someone has the mandate to kind of think through who should be nominated as from your young professionals, and that someone has the mandate to think about what amazing stories Intelsat SES, now all SES, has to tell. Are you going to be in the mix of that as well, or do you know yet who that might be?
I don't know yet, but for sure we have a lot of young, talented people at SES. And when I say SES, combining SES and Intelsat, and there will be definitely some candidate. And if I can support that and getting the right person in that mix, I will be more than happy to support.
I would love it. So thank you for that. Well, before we go, I want to ask you this question, because again, this is one of the biggest things happening in the industry today, and you're living through it, right? So what advice would you give to someone else who's navigating a really big change like this, even if it's a personal change that's really big or professional? You're living it now. What advice do you have to give to us?
What I will give as an advice, and it's really personal, but I would say that it's stay positive, stay visible or be visible, and stay curious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, big changes are opportunity to reinvent yourself, connect with new people, understand their roles, and find where you can make the biggest impact. And the more you engage and stay open, the faster you will find your place and thrive in this new environment. So this is really like, see the change with a positive mind. There's always something, good happening with a change.
Yeah. I've taken the mental note. Stay positive, stay visible, stay curious.
Yeah.
Sylvie, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Tamara.
Absolutely. That concludes today's episode, Holding Steady, Life and Leadership After the Biggest Merger in Satellite History. We thank our guest, Sylvie Macraigne, for spending this time with us. This podcast is made possible by the support of SSPI's professional, student, and corporate members. We are especially grateful for our corporate partners, Access Intelligence, producers of Via Satellite Magazine, the law firm of Clyde & Company, Hughes and EchoStar Company, and the American Space Exploration Fund, formerly known as the Space Shuttle Children's Trust Fund. To learn more about SSPI, visit sspi.org and follow us on X, formerly Twitter, at SSPI, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. New episodes of the SSPI podcast, including Better Satellite World, Space and Satellite Futures, and the SSPI Wise podcast, She Reaches, are released every Monday. Subscribe at sspi.org/podcasts, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, really wherever you get your podcasts. You can also subscribe to our podcast on YouTube. You can visit SSPI Video, all one word, on YouTube. For Space and Satellite Professionals International and our producer, Ari Yates, I'm Tamara Bond-Williams. Join us next time for another conversation with a space and satellite professional making waves in the industry. And until then, I'm signing off from Movers in Our Orbit. Go out and make a great day. Thank you.